All right. Welcome to the Path to Billionaire Success Stories, the podcast that takes you on a journey through the stories, strategies, and insights of remarkable individuals who have achieved greatness in their fields. I'm your host, Ben Petrowski, and together we'll unravel the secrets, challenges, and triumphs that pave the way to success. Join us every week as we uncover the principles that can help you overcome obstacles, embrace change, and harness your potential. Get ready to be motivated, challenged, and empowered to embark on your very own path to success. Remember, success is not just a destination, it's a journey. So buckle up and get ready to explore. Today, we are joined by Jenifer Patterson. Would you like to introduce yourself and give us a brief rundown of what you're doing and what you're working on?
Yes, thank you, Ben. My name is Jenifer Patterson, and I am have been. Oh goodness! So I am currently have my own business, and I do health insurance and Medicare insurance, other insurances, anything to have to do with health. And so for me, I love what I do. And I'll be honest with you, when I first started, I had no idea what I was doing. So I've learned a lot and I am happy to be here. So thank you.
Thank you. Awesome. How do you define success and what does it mean to you personally?
So good question. The way that I define success is doing what you love to do and being happy in doing that and feeling good about yourself when you go to bed at night.
I love that.
Yeah.
That is awesome. What achievements or milestones have you accomplished that you consider successful moments in your life?
Oh my goodness. So, wow. So I have changed careers, totally changed careers. Before I even talk about careers, my first success is my son. He's my
Yes.
number one success. My second is my marriage. So we're going on 21 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And in business, I think I think that some of the hardest challenges that I have had is changing careers. So I came from education. I was there for over 24 years. And then I embarked on my own business in health insurance and Medicare. Um, I went from a nice paying job to zero for a year while I worked on this. And then when I started this business, it takes you a good year or two to get even remotely anywhere. So I think being able to hang in there and keep doing it and just knowing that you're doing all the right things. And the only way you know you're doing all the right things is to have a mentor who helps.
Mm, yes.
So that was very difficult. And you want to throw in the towel and you keep telling yourself, you've done all of this. Do you really want to throw in the towel now? And if you throw in the towel, where are you going to go?
Right.
Because once I started my own business, I knew that I didn't want to go back to corporate America.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah, right?
So it's so hard to transition out of that rat race. Like, and I get for some people it works. Some people that's what fits their personality. But for me, once I got out of it, I'm like, I don't know if I can see myself going back to that. Like I guess if worse came to worse, but I would not choose to go back to that right now. So
Yeah. If worse came to worse, I'm going back to waitressing.
there you go. There you go. Make that money, right?
Well, I mean, you have fun, right?
Yeah.
And when you leave your job, you leave your job.
Yep. Right. Right. You don't take anything with you. You're just, you clock out and that's it. You're
Yep.
done. Yep. How has your definition of success evolved over time? Have your priorities and goals shifted along with that?
So my definition of success has changed over time. But the one thing that is always, to me, being successful was never about really money per se. We want money and we need money. And I don't want to have to live paycheck to paycheck. So when I say it wasn't about money, relatively speaking, but for me, success has always been in to be happy in what I do. And when I found that I wasn't happy in doing it, I had to do something else. I know some people will say, "Oh, it's just a job," or "It's just work," but work has always been a part of me. Like it's not a separate entity. Like my heart and soul goes into it. So I knew in third grade that my purpose in life was to help others. I knew that. I knew I wanted to be a teacher in third grade. And even though I've left corporate teaching and I'm doing what I'm doing now, I'm still teaching. I'm teaching people how to live their best lives financially through insurance.
Right.
So for me, the success has always been be happy. But when I look at what success looked like when I was younger to success now, there's not a lot that changed, but the one thing that has changed is for me that you realize that life is too short. And if you don't go for it now, it may never happen.
Right. But you're definitely fortunate to know that for you, success was always about happiness. Like we go through so many transitions as we grow up and stuff. To know that that ultimately was what it was back then is amazing, because all through my time it was always about the money, the shiny stuff, and it wasn't. I didn't realize that was trying to make myself happy, where there's other stuff that you can do, and helping other people is so critical in that happiness. And I believe that you are still teaching, because obviously you deal with my mom and her insurance stuff, so you're teaching her and I all about that stuff. So in a way you are still in the teaching industry. So
Thanks. Yes, absolutely. And I love it. I love people. I love people.
yeah, people are people are what make everything work for you. It really is, whether it's your customers, your mentors, somebody that you're aspiring to be, things like that. Like your network is just going to be your net worth in the end. So
Right. So one of my favorite quotes is from John Lennon. He says, Mom told me it's something about the teacher asked me what did you want to do when you grow up? And I told him happy. And teacher said, you didn't understand the question. And he said, you didn't understand the answer.
yeah, because it's true. Like no matter what you're doing, as long as you're happy with it, it's all that matters.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's it. And happiness doesn't come from, I don't know how to explain it, not outward. Do you know what I mean? Like
Right.
all this material things like that. It really comes from the heart and what you're doing, I think.
Right. Right. If you're not happy with yourself, with your own person, with your entity, you're no matter what you buy, it's not going to make you happy. Yeah. And I think that's where the saying money can't buy you happiness comes from, because money can buy you happiness. Money can buy you things that make you happy. But if you're not a happy person, no matter how much money you have, that's not going to buy you the happiness that you're looking for.
You're
So,
absolutely right.
what role do you believe that luck or timing has played in achieving success?
Luck and timing. Interesting. So some people call it luck. I call it the powers that be. So this is kind of an interesting question that you say that. So in 2017 is when I left the education world. And I was at a crossroads. I had worked my way up to academic teen, and it was, to be honest with you, awful. I'll be, I
Yeah.
mean, and when I say awful, I mean it just inside didn't feel good.
Mm,
I don't mean that it was just awful. I mean, inside, it was killing me.
yeah.
And my mom was, at the same time, my mom was turning 65. So nobody knew anything about a Medicare. So, of course, I looked online. I read everything that I could. I got the Medicare and U book. I'm just, being the teacher I am and going down the rabbit hole, the educator, did all the research. And I flew back to Florida because my mom has kidney disease. At the time, she was stage 3. And when somebody hit stage 5, at that time in 2017, they could only have original Medicare. So we knew that we needed to get her on something, because if she became stage 5 when she was on a plan, they couldn't kick her off.
Okay. Okay.
So that the laws are different now. You can get on a plan if you're stage 5 kidney disease. So stage 5 kidney disease is dialysis and or waiting transplant.
Okay.
So the insurance person met with us, and it wasn't that she didn't do her job. She just couldn't break it down for my mom to understand.
Right.
And the light bulb went off. The powers that be said, you can do this. And then I came back, I left the education world and started studying for my insurance exam.
Nice.
So that was pivotal in my life. The other thing that was very pivotal in my life to going into education. So I went to school for primary education, and I thought I would love it.
Right.
Um, and I got into the field and realized that um, it wasn't for me. I have a lot of respect for teachers because, you know, when you're dealing with children, you're not just dealing with them, you're dealing with their parents. And I realized the other aspect of me, I felt like it was Groundhog's Day because I felt like I was in the same classroom, same 4 walls
Every day.
every day. And that was the part that shocked me. The other part that shocked me was that, again, here I am, I'm a teacher, and I didn't feel good every day when I went home because there are so many children out there who need help. And I
Right.
know, you know what I mean? Like they need tutoring, but there is no tutoring for them. Their parents aren't part of their education,
Mm.
those types of things like that. And, and I always, and it was difficult. So I was like, okay, dear, and I'm saying my prayers to, for me, I pray to everyone, rather it be, Mother Earth, God, Buddha, whomever you know what I mean? Like I
Right.
just, I have a different aspect of that. So, oh my gosh. So my husband's like, well, you can retire at a job like that. You know, it's so good. You can retire at a job like this. And so I was like, no, I can't. I can't.
Right.
And he was upset at first. He's like, but what do you mean? He's like, all the sacrifices that we've done for you to go to school, you know. And, you know, he was upset. He's talking, blah, blah, blah. And I told him, I said, I've been filling out applications. I've been praying. I've been saying, if this is not where I'm supposed to be, please show me a different path.
Right.
And at the end of this whole conversation and him being upset, he just, because he's like, it'll be okay. He said, if worst comes to worst, we can sell everything and we can just live in a trailer. It'll be okay.
Love. That's
Yeah.
love. That's,
And then I got my job at Brown Mackey.
okay.
So I left primary education into, because I was still working at Pima too, but it was just part-time for adjunct. But I got my basically full-time position at Brown Mackey. So those are the two that when you say luck, it's timing, but I also think that, you can believe in that higher power someone has, shown you the way or universe or, I don't, it just depends on what you call it. But those are my two that I was like, oh my gosh.
That's awesome though. Like it's you're putting yourself in those positions and you're open to those opportunities, which makes it to where you can grab onto them and go and be successful in them because you're willing to essentially throw it all away just to follow that dream that you're on. So that's good. Um,
Thanks.
can you share a specific challenge or setback that you faced?
Ooh, several. So, but if I look at challenge or setback, I think for me, um, in my current profession. So the challenge is when you come from corporate America, right? You have somebody who tells you what you need to do, when you
Mm,
need to do it, when it's due, right? So I'm used
yeah.
to, being in a backwards plan, right? You plan backwards for what you need to teach, what you need to do, reports you need to get in, all of those things. So, um, but in my profession, you can be a captive agent, which means you only work for one company, or you can be a broker who represents several companies, and your job is to work for your client, not the company.
Okay.
So I decided to take the path with the most resistance. And
Mm,
that was, I never was a captive agent. I started out as a broker.
okay.
Um, but you don't have anyone saying, hey, this is how you get your clients. This is what you need to do. You have to go out here. You have to do it. So you have to build it. And it takes people 3 to 5 times before they 3 to 5 times before they feel comfortable
Okay.
talking about
Right.
personal stuff, right?
Right. Right.
You know, and so I don't, over the phone, talking to you in person. So you have to overcome that barrier, feel confident about what you're doing. And mine, it's so funny. My biggest fear in life is getting in trouble. What I mean by getting in trouble is right now, CMS, the Center for Medicare and Medicaid, we are heavily regulated. It is the government. So when I say I couldn't go back to corporate America, I'm still heavily regulated.
Right.
I can't say the word free. So I always tell people, when people say, you mean it's free? And I'm like, no, I can't say the F word, but I can tell you it's a zero copay, right? I can't say it's the best plan. I can say it's the best plan based on your circumstances.
Right.
There is a lot of, and if I set up a table and I'm doing something that's showing that I do, I set up my event table for people to come to me. I can't call out to them. I can't bring things at the table that entice them to come over. They have to willingly come to me.
Okay. So you can't
Oh,
actually go and solicit customers like that. You have
nope.
to just have a booth and they come to you.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right. So tons of regulations, that's for sure.
Yes, but I can make my own schedule.
There is that. The freedom that comes along with it, it's, like, yeah, you're going to work long, hard days and put in crazy hours here and there, but you have that freedom. Say your son has an event that you want to go to, you have that freedom to just say, okay, I'm not doing anything today. It's all about him today. So
Yeah.
that is,
Do you remember seeing my son underneath my desk when he was little?
yeah, yeah.
Because
You remember that.
he got out of school early, whatever. You're like juggling this.
Yep.
But so so the hardest, when you're looking at that and you have to figure out how do you get your own clients? How do you get your own customers? That, you know, oh my goodness, that was the hardest. And now the funny thing is um I have my own agency now. So I have 9 agents underneath me.
Oh, wow.
So they don't have to, they don't have, I mean, they're still going to have to struggle a little, but at
Mhm.
least I can direct them,
Right.
because you can, you can be a broker and you can have an FMO, which is the person who's above us, right? We have to sign up underneath somebody because the insurance companies will not contract with us individually.
Okay.
So you can have somebody who gives you everything, right?
Mhm.
And or basically somebody who feeds you, or
Right.
you can have somebody who shows you how to feed yourself.
Mm. Okay.
And I'm the one who shows you how to feed yourself. And that's how my FMO is. So I'm considered a general agency. It's just a bunch of jargon, but but the the aspect of that is that it was so difficult to figure out what works. People are like, oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. And you're like trying to break down doors, break barriers, and also build a clientele at the same time.
Right.
So, whew. And now, and now I see my efforts have paid off. So that's good because I don't have the barriers that I had before. Most of my new customers are referrals from current clients.
Mm. Okay.
It's
Nice.
90% of my business.
Very good.
So did
That's
that answer your question?
sure did. It sure
Okay.
did. Yep. So, do
Hold
you
on.
think?
Do you hear that? My alarm's going off.
Oh no.
Sorry. Okay. All right.
Do you think there's a connection between failure and success?
Oh, it's a fine line. But yes. So here's here's a it's a big connection. Um, but I always say you fall forward, not backwards, right? How many times, I mean, I don't want to sound all philosophical or whatever, but here it is, right? Like, we hear it all. You can't have, you can't have the rainbow without the rain, right? You can't have the flowers without the rain and the sunshine,
Yeah.
right? So I don't know that if you don't experience failure, that you know what success is. Does that make sense?
Sure does. It sure does.
Because yeah, because you have to be able to compare. And we fail many times. I cannot tell you how many times I failed in this. I'm thinking this is going to work. And I have to go back. My first 2 years, I struggled finding out what really worked, what to do, how to do it, who I should be connecting with. And I kept telling myself, you're falling forward. You're learning what doesn't work. So now that you learned what works.
Right. That's
So,
it.
yes.
You learn from those failures and you keep going. That's the key. Is never
And,
quit and keep learning from those failures.
and the way that I look at it is not a failure. It's challenges that you overcome, right?
Hmm, there you go.
It's challenges. You know, I didn't have a bad day. I had a challenging day.
Yeah. So
Ugh.
that mindset, changing those words, change your mindset.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, having difficulties here.
You're good. You're good.
Oh, there it goes. It was telling me it wasn't charging.
Oh,
And my charger has two parts to it. So now it is. Okay.
no, sure. How do you maintain a work-life balance while pursuing your career, your success?
Ooh, that has been a difficult one. It really has. Um, and this business is interesting in how it works. At first, everybody tells you you do, you basically, we have annual enrollment for Medicare for people who have Medicare. And we have open enrollment because I do under 65 as well, which is for people who are individual and family plans. So annual enrollment is October the 15th through December the 7th. Open enrollment is November the 1st through January the 15th. So during that time, we basically work 8 to 8.
Hmm.
I say we're on eights, 8 to 8 for 8 days a week. Um, because it is just a busy time. And then after that, I go to hiding for a little while so I can recoup and regenerate. Um, and it is an everyday struggle. You know, always one more email you need to do, always one more thing to do. And I have to ask myself, will it matter if it waits till tomorrow?
Hmm, powerful question.
Right? So if I've got that one more email, well, what happens when you do one more email?
There's one more after it.
Right?
Yep.
So, okay, if I wait till tomorrow, was it okay? And 9 out of 10, it's yes.
Right. Right. What are the chances that person's going to receive that message so late at night, anyways? Like,
Mhm.
you
But when AEP, when it's that annual and open enrollment, all those things go out the window, I'll be honest.
know,
But then I have to reel it back in. So, one of the things that I'm going to do this year is during the rest of the year, I only work on the weekends when I need to. Make appointments as needed. We're always doing events. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't get to have my weekends to myself per se, but I knew what events I was having in October and November back in April.
okay. Right. So you have that all planned and ready. And
Yeah,
you know.
it's just making me appointments.
Hmm.
So I am gonna I what happens though is your current clients always think that you're available from 8 to 8.
Right. Because that's what they're used to, because that's what they had at that time. You
It is so funny. Well, I thought your office was open. I thought your phone was open till 8.
know.
I
No,
apologize. That was just during that time. So just really reiterating that to folks and not answering the phone.
right, right. Setting those boundaries is key.
Yeah. And it's
It's
hard.
it's hard. It's very hard. So I
Yeah.
think that's a struggle for a lot of people. No matter what path you're on, it's hard to remember. Like you have to give your life that time as well as your business, your work, whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because if somebody has family, rather it be parents, grandparents, nieces, nephews, that they're close to, husband, children, right?
Mhm.
My husband's like, is that working for you? Do you think that's really working? Is what I'll ask. Oh, yeah. He goes, for you or for all of us? Oh.
Mm.
And when he just does those, oh, since you're asking me that, obviously it's
Yeah,
not working for
yeah.
you.
Obviously, I already know the answer to this one, but
you know, and so it's always having somebody in your ear with that different perspective. Oh, okay. All right, I see.
I will work on that. So,
So I would, and learning from other people.
mm,
I have a friend of mine that I have learned so much from because I could be a type A personality. It needs to be, when I say perfect, perfect is relative, right?
right.
To the project, to what you're doing. There's really no perfection. But a type A that, it needs to be done. I got to get this done and it needs to have A, B, C, D. Like, I want, so I have a friend of mine who's like, give grace. That means to yourself. And we only have so many hours in a day.
Right. Yep. You can't stretch more hours out.
Nope. He said, so, I'm like, okay, give grace. And there's so many hours in a day, which is true and profound, right? Because when you think about it, you've got to sleep, you need to eat, do your work, and you need to separate yourself from your work.
Yep.
Okay.
Scheduling. It's all about scheduling.
Right. And if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't happen.
Right. Right. And that includes your free time, your relaxing time. Like I have to schedule everything. Everything that I'm doing, I schedule it, like and don't get me wrong, sometimes it fluctuates and I don't exactly hit the timing, but it's still in that calendar. I know, okay, when this is done, now I go to this, and then
Mhm.
it's
Absolutely.
definitely helpful. So how important is goal setting in achieving success?
I wish that I could say it's not, but it is very important.
Yes.
Because if you don't have a goal, right? What is the goal? If you don't set something, how do you know that you're measuring success? So I believe that it's very important. I had a friend of mine who started a music magazine, and I worked for her when I lived in St. Louis. I did PR work for her. And I'll never forget her. She said, the whole reason I started the magazine was to meet Gavin from
Mm,
Bush, right? She said, and then when that happened, she's like, oh my gosh, what do I do next?
right. That's success right there. That's once you reach it, you're like, oh, okay, now I can do more. I know I can. So
Yeah,
builds that confidence.
yeah. So, so absolutely.
What are some habits or practices that you believe have contributed to your success?
So I think you have habit. My habits, other people's. You have to have someone there for you. I mean, I am one that will, if I don't talk about it, like I try to solve the problem in my head, in my head, in my head, in my head.
Mhm.
And and then by the time I talk to somebody, I'm falling apart. So for me, like I gotta fix it. That's how my brain is, you know.
Right.
Oh, I've got an issue. Okay, I gotta fix it. Okay, I can do A, B, C. It's not working. So let's just try this instead of having somebody to talk to.
Right.
So I've had to learn to do that.
Mhm.
I've had to learn that there are a lot of people, and asking doesn't mean that people see you as a failure.
Right. Right.
So that's huge in habit. The other is I honestly have to have some time to myself
Mm.
every single day.
Right. Right.
Like I am a people person, but I need time where I'm not on my phone, not on the computer, no TV going,
Yep.
and quiet.
It's my me time.
That's right. You know, and then so I feel like even if it's just 10 minutes, I feel like it rejuvenates me to be able to, you know, do whatever it is. And then I definitely believe in meditation
Nice.
because my brain the wheels never turn off.
Right.
And being able to meditate helps bring my hyperness down a little so that I can, not be in the moment, but think further through.
See the bigger picture, get you recentered and seeing bigger pictures.
Absolutely. And then I believe in, you need exercise,
Yep.
even if it's just, sometimes, sometimes I don't really have a lot of time. So me and my dog dance around.
There you go.
Do you
Keep
know what I
moving.
mean? You use
Yep.
those little things.
Yep.
And um, I think that those are, you know, I wish I could say that when I get stressed out and I'm super busy, that I continue to eat really healthy. But
Right. It's hard. Like, when you're busy, and I know it's excuses. We didn't plan ahead and make sure we had everything, but those convenience stores, those fast food places, the places that you can just quickly grab something on the go and keep going, they're hard to say no to because they're everywhere. So it's that
yeah.
temptation. So
Well, I will have to say I have a soybean allergy and a nut allergy, and soybeans in everything. So I don't get to be the one who stops at the
mm,
convenience store. There are a lot of places that I can't eat.
yeah.
But mine is um, you can't eat nuts all day long. I mean, I can eat, when I say nuts, I can have cashews,
Yeah.
right? And that, I mean, hard-boiled eggs, that's just, it's not enough nutrition. It's not enough to sustain you.
Right. Right.
And I live on coffee.
Yeah. Coffee. I have to have my coffee every day.
Same here. So good habits, though, is what we were referring to.
Right. And when you have your mental and your physical health in order and you take that time to recenter, like it just opens up a whole new perspective on the day and life in general. So it definitely helps.
Oh, yeah. And so there, so there's a company that does world research or surveys, right? They ask they asked 18 countries. How do you define happiness? Out of these 18 countries, they're, they give their top 5, right? The US year over year is the same, which is work, material things, family, community, church. Okay.
Mhm.
Now the Mediterranean countries, health is one of their top 5.
Okay.
Now, think about this. If you don't have your health, you're not going to work.
Right.
You're
Right.
not going to be able to make the money. You're not going to be able to get out into your community. And, God is different. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
Right.
when you think about that, your habits need to include that, something to do with your health.
Right. Right. You can only do so much when your health is declining. Like your production, everything is gonna slowly go along with your health. I believe that 100%. So, all right, ma'am. Last question here.
Okay.
What advice would you give to somebody who is just starting on their journey towards success?
So when somebody is just starting on, I think I have 3 pieces of advice.
Okay.
One, know it's okay to fail. Right? Fail. First attempt at learning, right?
Yes.
So it's okay to fail in learning. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay not to get back up. The second piece of advice is sometimes you're just going to have to figure it out as you go.
Mm.
You have this plan and it doesn't go right. Be flexible. Be like as Bruce Lee, be like water, my friend. You need to have some flexibility in that when it doesn't go as planned,
Yep.
and be able to go back to the drawing board. And third is have a mentor.
Yes.
If it's not, if you're, I don't have a mentor in the field. Okay. Have somebody that you can talk to, find someone that can help you. And I think that right there are the 3 biggest things,
I
you
love
know.
it. I love it. Those are 3 critical things. They really are. And time over time, it's different wording, but a lot of the people that I've interviewed, it's the same thing. It's be okay with failing, don't quit, find a mentor, things like that. Like it seems like the same theme is coming up with everybody that's successful. It's not hard, but it's hard at the same time. Like you just don't quit. Like that's what it comes down to. And you keep learning no matter
Yeah.
what.
Yep.
So
And you're right. So thank you, Ben.
thank you. I appreciate you taking the time. Would you like to give out any information if somebody wants to get in contact with you, website, social, email, anything like that? And I'll put it in the show notes as well.
Oh, okay. You want me to type it in? You want me to tell you?
No, just say it and then I'll get it from you and I'll put it all in the show notes as well.
Okay. So, yes, if you have questions about insurance, about insurance products, Medicare, health insurance, my services are always free. And I can say that F word right there. They're always free. And so I can be reached at Jenifer at Senior Solutions with an S, AZ.com.
Awesome.
And my phone number 520-275-3529. And you can find me on Facebook and LinkedIn.
And I can attest that she is amazing and she knows her product and will definitely get you the help that you need. I fought with getting my dad insurance, and Jenifer came in, took care of it, got everything situated. So by all means, if you have any questions with insurance, reach out to her.
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure.
It sure has. Thank you.